Hey everybody, welcome back. Devin, original Grognard's Corner, yada yada yada, whoop-de-doo, yay, we know why we're here. Wolfpack, 1974, Strategy and Tactics Magazine, number 74, would go on to get its own flat box edition. I've gone through pretty much half the game already and still haven't spotted a single convoy yet. There's a little bit of frustration in the game with that. Made a couple mistakes as well. Come to find out, if you'll remember, I was mentioning if you've got at least 7 boats in a hex, that the search radius is the front, the back, and the same hex. This is true. However, the rules also say that each hex worth of subs can only try to look for a convoy once. So if this convoy is moving this way, moves into here, I do the search there, and then continues moving on. This is the only hex I can search for him in. It's really hard to spot convoys, at least in this early scenario when I've only got 42 boats. Now granted, and I'll probably do a recap of this at the end, you really need lots and lots of U-boats to be able to spot a convoy, and the simple fact that more than 50% of the convoys aren't even real. This is supposed to be 1942. This is the German happy time. I mean, I've lost, 4 boats so far and not sunk a single. That didn't happen historically. This isn't a historical simulation. It's a game, although I'm sure some people would debate me on that. But the game is not mirroring reality. At least the way I'm playing it, and I've talked to a couple other people, and they've kind of run into the same problems. So we're not going to continue playing the game, but we are going to go through one of the things that I haven't been able to showcase yet, which is kind of what the entire point of this video was, is to showcase this game, is the actual combat. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this straggled one, this SC-11. Let's flip that over. Oh, wow, it's an actual real convoy. No, I didn't mess with the counters. And let's say that for some reason I was able to spot that and maneuver submarines. Okay, it's a real convoy. Let's say I had just discovered it. Let's say it moved right here and I discovered it, spotted it, real convoy, and that would be, the end of convoy movement phase. Now during my normal movement phase, U-boat operations, the only hex that you can spot a convoy from is the hex directly that it's moving to. So basically the hex in front of the convoy is the only hex you can attack from. So let's go through pack formations. We got this passel of boats right here. How many boats we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's at least a 6-pack there. So let's try to find a single 6-pack counter. There we go. Put that right there. He's going to have the movement, so let's go ahead and move these subs down here. You really want to get as many subs as you can in on it. There's that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, these guys can even get down there. All right. So move the submarines into the hex that they can attack from, which is the hex that the convoy is facing towards. Then it's U-boat attack segment, which we haven't seen yet this game, and we use the U-boat combat results table. Let's see if we can zoom in on it so you can kind of get an idea. Hopefully you can kind of see that clearly. Am I looking at that correctly? Haven't got my glasses on, so I can't even read that far away. Let's see. Why does that not look right? Because there's no chart across. Did they mess that up? Did they not print? You know what? I'm looking at this. It doesn't have, since this isn't the official map, this doesn't look like it has, it says the chits, but it doesn't have the strengths, the attack strengths above it. Let me go ahead and stick this on pause real quick, and let me check the master map. Yeah, whoever crafted this didn't quite get all the charts and everything. Like I said, when I was mentioning earlier, there were other mistakes that were made. Whoever had edited and crafted this homebrew map. Basically, the columns are 2 to 5, 6 to 14, 15 to 23, 24 to 31, 32 to 39, and 40 plus boats. So basically, you take the number of boats you got, subtract the escort strength, and that determines what column you're on. And let's take a look at what boats we got. 6, 7, 8, 14, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's going to be on the 15 to 23 column, which is the third column, which is this column right here. Well, that's the U-boat strength. That's have to modify it by the escort strength. And the escort strength is a 1, so it would actually be 23, 22. However, it's a straggled 1, so that negates that straggled 1 negates the 1 escort value. Had the escort value been a 2 and a straggled 1, then the escort value would only be 1. Also, had there been an aircraft, because now that we have an actual spotted escort out there, during the next turn, it didn't happen during this turn because air phase takes place before naval phasing. Air escorts could have been allocated to that, and that would have added another +1 to the convoy number. So it's actually 23 minus 1, but +1 for the straggle 1. So it is still on the 15 to 23 column, which is the third column. You just roll a d10. What did I say? There we go. We rolled a 0. Crap, which is absolute. You know what? Deus Ex, we're taking a mulligan on that. All right, fine, 2. Fine, we'll go with that. And a 2 is actually a 1. So 1 merchant ship was sunk. Now, what does that mean? We come down here to our victory point track, and remember, this is the 1s column, and that's the 10s. 1 ship was sunk, so roughly 50,000 tons, so we moved up by 1. Now, after that, the pickets get to attack, and that's just your normal anti-submarine combat table. Just like with aircraft, you take the strength of the convoy, which is 1, but it's going to be -1 for the straggle, so actually I don't even think they get to. I'm not going to bother checking it right now. Roll in that column, see what happens. Now, that's basically combat. If and when you actually see combat, that's what combat involves. Now, a couple other things I wanted to get into. No convoys can ever be destroyed. So basically, next turn, that convoy would continue moving, and since I had already spotted it, I could keep those 23 boats there, and if I wanted to, I could follow it all the way until it gets too close to Ulster and, the aircraft flying out of Ulster, and just keep hammering it every turn, trying to sink more ships. And every ship I sink will increase my chart, by 1. German U-boats never completely destroyed any single convoy during the war, so it's assumed that the U-boats in this game can't totally destroy a convoy at all. Now, the only time that you lose sighting of a convoy and have to research for it is if at the end or at the beginning of the convoy movement phase, there is no German submarines next to the convoy, or if it moves through a storm area, which we know the storm area, and it's all its 17 surrounding hexes, or through an active fog zone, then you lose track of it and we'll have to research for it. Of course, when you research for it, then you know it's a real convoy. You just have to go through the pain in the ass procedure of trying to search for it. And really, that's it. That's the game. So for basically every ship you sink, you get +1 and just go on up. And, for example, had I gotten, 9 ships sunk, I sink another one, that goes down to 0, that goes up to 10, so now we've got 10, sink another 5, I'm at 15, so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. Victory conditions. Let me go ahead and point out the victory conditions real quick. Okay, victory points. 11 or less, Allied victory. 12 to 19, German marginal. 20 to 26, German substantive. 27 or more, German decisive. But you also subtract 2 points for every submarine that was sunk. And let's one, two. Jeez, I lost 5 submarines. I'm already at negative 10. So, yeah. Tough little game. I think in the later scenarios, when you get more U-boats, I think in the final scenario, how many U-boats do you get? Yeah, you get 60 U-boats. So, you have more U-boats that can spot. But, of course, conversely, the escorts that the Allies get and the aircraft are more increased. So, you're going to take a lot more damages. However, I think if and when I play this again, definitely will have to make sure that I have a minimum of 7 boats in a hex just to get the 3 hex search radius. I also really recommend tossing out that you can only search, each hex of subs can only search a convoy once. I mean, if the concept is the more boats you have gives you the ability to search or have a wider search radius, then you should be able to search every hex that the convoys move through. I mean, it's already the odds are stacked against you as it is to be able to spot them. Why make it even more harder than it has to be? So I don't know what kind of bearing that would have. I have to trust that James Dinnigan, when he originally designed this, the man obviously knew what he was doing. He designed a lot of great games, but I'm failing to see why it's so difficult. Other than the fact that, yeah, in theory, you spot a sub or you spot a convoy like right here with only 4 points of movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So, 30 hexes away from its destination, that's basically 8 turns of you hammering it, even with a moderate, that's say on an average 2 boats or 2 ships per turn, that's 16 ships that 16 victory points that you can scrape together. I don't know. I just have not played the game enough or played the later scenarios where I have more boats, U-boats to really hurt the convoys. But yeah, I mean, there is some frustration with it, just the lack of... let's take a look at some of these other convoys that are out here. Like, that's a fake convoy. That's a fake convoy. Fake convoy. Oh, there's one. There's an actual convoy. Fake convoy. Let's see, the 2 that made it... Yeah, both the convoys that made it into port were fake convoys. So yeah, so let's see. 13 convoys out and only 2 of them were actual convoys. The good thing about it is that relatively quick gameplay. I mean, honestly, if I was just sitting down playing it by myself and not spending 20 minutes talking to y'all for everything I do, I could probably be pumping out a turn in less than 5 minutes a turn. So I can get an entire game in hour and a half. And on that respect, that's a good thing. So, anyways, this has been Wolfpack. I actually did kind of enjoy this, even without the frustration of searching, of trying to find the convoys. I actually did have a lot of fun with it. I do like how this map looks. I mean, there's just the minor issues that I pointed out that the person who graphically designed it made. But if you know that going into it, then you can just overlook those with no problem. I have no problem with it. Trying to figure out what the next thing I want to do. I've been thinking over it the last few days. I was actually thinking of kind of going off the rails and doing a Citadel of Blood. It was an Ares magazine release. And it's kind of a solitaire dungeon romp. Pretty cool. It is a boardless. It just uses the hex counters, or the hex, or the counters to do the rooms and all the random monsters and everything in it. Problem is, I can't find. I actually used to own a copy of Citadel, unpunched copy of Citadel of Blood, but I sold it, about a year ago for like $80. So, I couldn't turn that price down. So, trying to find some decent scans so I can just print it out. And if I go with the original counters, then, I'll want to up the size because, it's the counters are, these itsy bitsy teeny, those aren't even half-inch, maybe half-inch counters. So real tough to play the game that way. So I was going to blow them up. I've gone on Board Game Geek, tried to find some, because Board Game Geek has a lot of people have done their own counters and their own tiles, but it's like, I'm not really too happy with any of them. It's like, do I really want to go through that much work for it? So still trying to figure things out. I might do something from Dwarf Star Games. I really would like to do Star Viking, but that's not really a good solitaire game. And again, it comes down to me getting good scans of the maps and counters. Now, the good thing about Dwarf Star Games is that they've released all their stuff as free PDFs on their website, dwarfstargames.com, I think it is. So, they have no problem if people want to download their games and print them out and play them that way, as long as you don't resale them, obviously. So I might go that route. I've been looking at Goblin from Dwarf Star Games. I don't know. Maybe go back to... I need to get Command and Colors in. I promised one of the guys that I do Command and Colors, so I'll probably do a Command and Colors Napoleonics at some point. What else? I'm looking at my board games. I definitely need to do Avalanche Press's World War II at Sea. I mean, I can't really... kind of maybe walk through how the operational side works, but probably just mostly focus on the tactical battle level. Lock and Load's World at War, Eisenbach Gap Death of the 1st Panzer. That's an easy game. I may go through that. Few things, so it may be a few days before I get around to deciding what I'm going to do next. That's all I got. Remember, want to follow me on Facebook, Original Grognard at Facebook. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticisms in the comment section. I'll see everybody later. See ya!